I'm a long-term investor, and yes, I've been through the subprime crisis. I've been through the dot-com bubble. I've been through crashes like this before, and I know it'll always come back. But damn it, I'm tired of losing money in the stock market. I'm down about 40% where I was last November. So I go to my Discord, and I see these guys, these gals that are saying they're making money every day. And I'm saying, what are you doing? I'm doing some swing trading. And I said, well, I need to know how to do that. And they try to give me some clues on it and, interchange. I said, no, you've got to give me a course. You've got to make me a menu. You've got to give me something in writing and then support it with video so that I can figure out how to do this, because I see what they're doing and they're claiming they're making 88% of their trades are positive. Well, then teach me how to do this. That's what the tribe's all about. So that's what they did. They've put together a platform. It's on the Discord, and they have taught me how to trade. And now I want to share that with you.
Best of Us Investors presents Carrie Griegmeyer.
So I get on a Zoom call with Mark and Drew. Drew is the guy who runs our Discord. He built it for me and he takes care of it. Mark, on the other hand, is a guy who has worked on our investment committee. I've gotten to know him quite well. He's a retired from Ameritrade, and he's basically a numbers guy. And I said, look, I wanted to get into this swing trading. And they said, okay, what is it? What are the parameters you want to work under? I said, well, I make videos every morning, so I can't sit and watch the stock market continuously. I need something that gives me alerts and helps me structure it so that when I set some parameters about where I should get in and where I should get out, my phone or something alerts me to it. And they said, okay, first we got to choose the parameters by which you buy and which you sell, and we'll structure that, and then we'll build the rest of it into it. So that's what they did. And rather than me try to explain it to you, let me turn you over to Mark and Drew and let them explain to you what they have taught me and what I want to share with you.
Hello, Mark and Carrie. Mark, thank you very much for leading our trading platform at the Best of Us Investors. I do see on the spreadsheet, although it is paper trading and it's not financial advice, that if we had followed the buy and sell signals that were triggered based on the indicators you focus on, we would have made anywhere between 1 to 16% within a month on all your 11 trades. So just as an example, if you bought 100 shares of Amicus Therapeutics, ticker symbol FOLD, at the triggered buy price, which was $10.94, and sold on the day we had the sell signal triggered, you would have made over 16% gains in only 6 days. And more impressive to me was that these profits were made in a bear market like the one we are experiencing now, where the majority of investors are seeing huge minuses in their portfolio. So, Mark, can you briefly introduce yourself and kind of share why you decided to share these trades with the Platinum members, and also what types of indicators you focus on to maybe determine these buy or sell signals?
Sure. I've been involved with Best of Us for probably a couple of years, and we were on the investment committee together, you and I, Drew. And on that investment committee, we would talk, and there was one of our members was James, and he's still a member, and he called me crazy because I would get out of the market and not do much with the money sitting there, wait to get back in the market. And he says, you need to swing trade, and he called me crazy and he apologized. But however, I started looking into it and said, this kind of makes sense to me. My career was a quality engineer, so I looked at a lot of statistics and charts and predicted out ahead of time when machines would break down or when parts would go out of spec. And so it's really close, swing trading and looking at charts, to that quality and process control that I used to do. So about the end of December, I was looking at the charts and I saw that most of the indexes were going under the 200-day moving average. And I pulled a lot of my long-term index funds out and just went to cash at this point. And at that time, I started looking at, well, maybe I should do some swing trades in there. And so I spent a lot of time in books and talking to people and videos, learning how to swing trade. Well, there's many, many, many systems out there of people and what indicators they use. So after trial and error, I like to keep things as simple as possible. So, I came up with a certain amount of indicators and moving averages that I look at. Remember that, swing trading, it's a style of trading that uses technical analysis to capture short and midterm gains holdings in a stock, or any financial instrument that you trade in. You can trade in an ETF, you can trade in an index fund, you can trade in an individual stock for a few days to several weeks. Now, you can also trade on the monthly chart, the daily chart, the hourly chart, the 4-hour chart. I use the daily chart because I don't want to sit in front of my screen, like Carrie said, all day and watch my screen and, for indicators. So I can look at it in the morning and then get out of it at night, if I want. So I can look at it at night, see if it's triggered any of my indicators. If you want to look at some indicators, we can move to a chart and just kind of look at the 7 or 8 indicators that I use. Okay, so let's just look at the SPX, and this is the S&P 500 index. So there are 4 simple moving averages that I look at, and now moving averages are lagging indicators. They indicate really a price action or a trend over time. So you can look up here, this red line represents our 200-day moving average. Now, this is over 200 days and it averages out, and then every day it plots it down. So this is long term. So this to me shows that the SPX is in a bear market for me. The other indicator is the 50-day moving average. You can see right here, and it's starting to trend up a little bit. And then I use a 20-day simple moving average, kind of like hash marks on a football field around my 9-day. And I trade on and off on the 9-day moving average. So you could see that in the system that we put together, we would have gotten out about right here, and you see where the market has gone, and we would still be out of this trade. So those are the 4 moving averages I look at. When we look at the indicators I use, okay, right here is the RSI. Now, the RSI is a relative strength index. It's a momentum indicator, and it measures the spread and magnitude of a security's recent price change to evaluate whether it's overvalued or undervalued. Now, normally above the 50, you're in an overvalued point, and under the 50, you're in an undervalued point, and right in the middle is fair value. So we see we're right about at fair value right now. Some people use this to trade. They'll buy here when it hits the undervalued, and they'll sell up here. You can go up and see where it happens. And also, we look at the MACD. The MACD is the moving average convergence divergence. And I'm not going to get into the details here because we're going to put out some training videos to show this. But basically, your MACD crosses a signal line at this point. And this tells you right now that you should probably be getting out of the trade. And you look up here, you can see what's happening. It's starting to go down. I also go down. I use the slow stochastic, which also for me is a better indicator. It's a little earlier than the MACD. So I can start looking about right here and saying, okay, I'm getting into trouble, and maybe get out at that point also. Normally, I wouldn't trade under the 200-day moving average, but those are the indicators that I use.
Mark, that makes a lot of sense to me, and those are some numbers that used to be in the back of my head and got buried somewhere. So for my trading, and because I spend my mornings making videos, I don't see the market until afternoon and just click back and forth. So what you're telling me is if I'm a part of this platinum membership, that you will share these trading signals with me, and you will then notify me when you are going to trade or when you see some of the triggers activated. And I'll get a message through Discord that you're either buying or selling.
This is just for paper trading to show you our system. But
Okay.
the system will put out potential buys or sells, and we will put that out through the Discord on the alert under the Platinum channel. And it's up to you, based on your knowledge and what you want to do in your risk tolerance, what you do to buy or sell. We're not recommending you buy or sell, but we're trying to give you a tool and a system to give you better understanding of whether you may want to buy or sell.
You're teaching me.
Right.
Will you go into depth as to what a MACD is and how a 200-day average differs from a 9-day? That seems like a large span to me. Will your tutorials cover that sort of thing?
Yeah, we have some videos coming out on the whole system, and it goes into more in depth what an RSI is, what a MACD is, what a stochastic is, and what all these simple moving averages are.
Okay.
As a platinum member, you'll get access to that training, and I encourage everyone to look at it. And again, this is just the way I do it. I have some guidelines that I can share with you, because I think anyone, whether you're an investor or a trader, you need to have guidelines and stay within those guidelines. Otherwise, it's kind of like the Wild West. You're shooting without aiming,
So you're trying to take the emotion out of it.
Right. So I'm letting the market work for you instead of you working for the market. These indicators, they're lagging indicators, but they do show trends. And we want to use as much information as possible to help us be better investors and traders.
Drew made some mention of what the past month, 2 months. What's your scorecard look like?
Okay, so we put together this spreadsheet to kind of track our process. And we have a video video out on this too. It goes in to explain what everything is. But basically, we started back in July. You can see at the end of July, and you can see the utilities index. You can do this on ETF. So here's basically a utilities index that we bought at $70.72 on the 26th of July, and we got out. The sell indicator hit about the 22nd of August at 76.48. We made about 8.14% in about 27 days. So the sell indicator was that it closed below the 9-day single moving average. And then we had a crossover on the slow stochastic, which is another factor that would make me want to get out of this trade. So not bad for 8%. The only stock that we're out of right now on our initial setup, we have CVE. We're still in. This one almost triggered a sell signal, and it got to a point I had to make a decision. Would I get in or get out? Because it was actually negative, down by like almost 2%, and stayed in. And now you can see today we're up about 5.8%, and the current price is $19.64. We got in at $18.56. So we're still in. So it's shown now in the public, but it's going to be shown in the Platinum channel only. And so people will add on to this as we go forward, and you'll be able to see what we're doing in live real time. This is the one stock of all the stocks we've been swing trading so far that we're still in. Okay. And this is CVE, Cenovus Energy Inc. And what we liked about this stock, we got in right here on the 18th of August. Okay. And the reason we got in, these are my rules. Here's the 200-day moving average. We're above it. Here's the 9-day moving average. We had one close above it. So we got in right about at that point again, I look at the end of the day, and if it looks like it's closing above and I make the decision, that's when I would hit the button. And let's just say we got it at 1866. We look down here, you can see it has good volume. I look at volume. We're at 8.5 million shares. I look down here, the MACD is above the signal line. It crossed actually back here. I just got in a little late when I found this stock. But right here, you can see the slow stochastic, it crossed right at the same time. So that's a good sign. And then you've got the RSI above the 50-degree level. So it's a little above fair value, but it has a lot more it can go up. Then we came down and we saw the next day. This is where we were deciding, do we get out or do we not? It didn't close all the way above the 9. Now, the 9 is the trade line for me. It closed above the 9, even though it went down and traded below the 9. I decided to stay in. So the next day we popped up to 1911. The next day we continued to climb. We were starting to get some separation from this 9-day moving average. We closed at 1948. And today you can see we're up just slightly at 1958. We're still in this trade. When I look down, why am I still in this trade? You can still see that the MACD is climbing. You can look at the histogram here. You can still see that the slow stochastic is still above its signal line. And we're still up here in above the fair market value, but we haven't hit oversold or overbought yet on this line right here. Everything's a green light for me right now. So there's no reason for me to get out at this point. So that's why we're still in this trade.
When would you sell though?
Well, when it reverses, either this price action closes underneath the 9, or if it got up and started bouncing off my resistance line, we've sold on that before, or I start seeing a crossover here. The first thing I'd look at is on this stochastic that this starts to cross over this signal line here, then this would be probably next. So if I had enough profit and I saw this would be the first thing I look at. And if I saw that the momentum of the RSI is starting to go down, but I'd look here first and then I'd watch the MACD. If those started to cross or move towards crossover, I'd consider getting out. But what I like about this trade still is we have this much room still until we get up to resistance. So the upside to me is a lot better than the downside at this point. But if I start seeing reversals here, I'll get out of it with a profit.
So Mark, there's a lot of services where they recommend buy or sells based on just the indicators. Let's say we had a buy signal with meme stocks like GME or AMC. Would you actually be filtering these risky trades on these platforms so that the tribe members would be at least, safe or with less risk from these meme stocks?
Yeah, part of this is just process, and we're looking at process and normal market cycles and trends. And when you inject variables outside of the process that we can't control or understand, we'll just stay away from those. I just want normal companies. And again, you could be going along just fine in a system like this and it looks good, and then have a little black swan like someone's product blew up in someone's face, and you can't predict that. But with meme stocks, we'll stay away because there's just so much variation in there that we can't control or don't, it's all over the place. So we'll stay away from that.
So basically, Mark, you're saying that the Platinum members who would follow these spreadsheets or the trades would be, in other words, protected from these really high risky news-driven meme stocks.
I just would not use those. I search through every week, probably 15 to 1,600 securities based on my stock screeners to find companies that set up for this particular process. And it may take a long time. And again, you don't always have to be in the market when you swing trade. I've been out, for 3-4 weeks at a time where I haven't found a perfect setup as much as we can have for a swing trade. So I just stay out. I don't push it. And I try to follow my guidelines almost religiously. And that keeps me out of a lot of trouble.
Yeah. So again, I'm really impressed that we are making profits in all the trades so far in the bear market, like that one that we are in right now. But let's say the momentum changes to a bull run. Do you think our platform would have a much greater impact for our platinum members that are swing trading, or even, finding entry points for their long-term investments as well with our trading platform or the trading spreadsheet?
It's definitely easier in a bull market when the markets are going up to swing trade. And it's a lot more difficult, like the last couple of days, to find opportunities at this point, But, again, you got to be patient. That's part of my guidelines is patience. You don't need to be in the market every single day when you're a swing trader. Let the market do the work for you. You don't work for the market.
Well, thank you very much, Mark, for sharing your trades and also what indicators you focus on to determine a buy or sell signal. I'm sure our trading platform will help so many investors from losing a huge amount of money by buying stocks based on the news and rumors when the stock is already near its all-time highs or is at the point where the chart and indicators are pointing out at a strong sell signal. Although this is not financial advice, in just paper trading, following the buy and sell signals that are triggered based on the indicators you closely watch, I again am sure that our platform will be a great reference to those members that are serious on making money through stock investments. So thank you very much again, Mark, and I really hope we can help as many Best of Us Tribe members as possible.
That's how it works. What I've then done is taken the parameters that they've given me, the menu they built for me, and relative to the MACD and the moving averages, and I've plugged that into my trading views, and I've identified the stocks that I want to watch, and then I've also gone more often to the Discord and watched what Mark is doing so that I get the feel of it both from my own input as well as from Mark and seeing what he's doing. So I did a numbers comparison and said, if in fact I was at this Discord and I had to pay $60 a month to get access to Mark's trades on a daily basis, on a weekly basis, what would I have made over the last 30 days? First, I realized it was only 20 days that he was trading, and in those 20 days, if I had $100 invested in each and every one of the trades, I would have cleared or made $71.23. If, in fact, I had put $500 down on each of the trades, I would have made $356.15. So in that case, I cleared or exceeded the $60 that the service would cost me. If I only have $100, that's a pretty close call. But that gave me a reference point to say, okay, what do I have to invest, and what should my expectations be? Now, the other thing I did was, because as I say, I have other things I have to do. I have to get out and get my exercise. I take my wife out to lunch. I enjoy my life. So what I did was attach this to my Moo app. And that is to say, when the alerts are sounded, when the target prices are hit, for me either to go in or out of either my stocks or the things that I'm following Mark doing, I get notified on my Moo app. This has become a lifesaver to me. I guess it's broken the umbilical cord to my desktop computer is the best way I can say it. And Moo is giving up 13 stocks to anybody who signs up before the end of the month. So you need to move on that. So this experience with the Discord has opened up a new avenue for me to make money on a regular basis. Now I'm going to stick with my long-term investing. What I'm going to do is get rid of some of the stocks that I think are further out, some of maybe the metaverse stocks that I hold. I'm going to hold on to my technology, my biotech, my genome sequencing, genome editing, because I believe they're about to explode. But that's the advance I've made through the Discord and through working with a team to make this a team sport. All right, I'll talk to you again tomorrow.
you.